Tanya and I recently spent a couple of weeks in Transylvania, Romania. Now, when you hear the term Transylvania, what normally comes to mind? Well, at least for me, it's always been Dracula. But there is so much more to this region than the legend of Dracula, which really was all kind of bogus, was based on Vlad III, otherwise known as Vlad the Impaler, who was in charge around this area in the 15th century. And his name indeed was Vlad Dracula, and he was a very vicious ruler, not to his people, but to the invading or occupying Ottoman Turks. So, people think what a violent, terrible guy this Vlad was, but to the people here, he was a hero because he drove the Turks out, and that's always a crowd pleaser in this part of the world. So today we're going to go over a couple of towns that you definitely should visit when you come to Romania, and especially in Transylvania. So let's get right into it. Well, Tanya and I are at the Iași train station right now, and we're on our way to get a train to Cluj-Napoca in the western portion of Romania. This is all these people here are just enjoying themselves and getting ready to take a train. There are tons of kids, and I think they're all going to a camp of some kind. Well, good morning, travel fans. Tanya and I made it yesterday from Iași to Cluj-Napoca. Don't know if I've got that pronounced correctly, but most people just call it Cluj. It's a really cute, more than cute, probably large medieval town. And today, right off the bat, we're going to be on our way to scope out the bus station, because in 4 days we're going to be leaving here onto our next destination, and it's a small town. Want to make sure we have tickets and so forth. So that's what we're doing today. So we'll take you along as we scope things out. We're staying here at the Marriott Courtyard. It's a brand new hotel, beautiful hotel. It was just completed in February of this year, so that's about 6 months ago or so. So, all right, here we go as we head off through Cluj. Any comments, Tanya, before we head off?
Can't wait to see the old city.
Can't wait to see the old city. That's what we're going to do. Okay, bye-bye. And as usual, almost anywhere we go in the world, there is a KFC. And you have to admire the amazing branding of this when they changed their name from Kentucky Fried Chicken to KFC. And Tanya, remember when we lived in Korea?
Korean fried chicken.
The Koreans thought it stood for Korean fried chicken. And now we're here in Cluj, which is actually spelled with a C, but it could very well be Cluj Fried Chicken. It's just amazing, the genius of these guys. Well, we found the bus station without too much problem. At one point, Tanya thought that I was having her walk along a freeway, which is not too far off, but it's a busy road, but we're right here. We went over and figured out how to get a bus to our next destination. It's really interesting. We were unable to make a reservation online, and you may encounter these kind of issues if you're on your own in Romania. But I knew what time the bus left. I know there were 2 buses a day going to Hunedoara, which is our next destination in another 4 days. Couldn't contact anybody. That didn't work online, so I thought, well, let's go over to the bus station. That's what we did. It was a 45-minute walk, but it was very pleasant. And after going to like 3 or 4 different windows and having some people being absolutely very helpful, weren't they, Tanya?
They were very helpful and nice.
Very nice, and said, no, go here, go there. And then this one guy finally told me, he says, look, no, you have to call. You can't, I didn't make a reservation. I said, I tried doing it online. No, you can't do it online. Call, make a reservation, then you pay the bus driver. And it worked out just slick. So I found the number, I called, the lady spoke English, made our reservation. We're all set for 4 days from now to go to Hunedoara on a bus. So just giving these little tips to our viewers. You have to be a little bit resourceful, and don't worry, it'll all work out. And that's how you get around Romania, without a tour bus. Don't like tour buses. Right now we're walking through, I guess what you could call a typical neighborhood here in Cluj, and it's a combination of these single-story houses and Soviet-era apartment buildings. And these you'll see all over the place. One place you might want to visit when you're in Cluj is the botanical gardens. Tanya just loves this stuff, and I appreciate the flowers too. So you can just see all sorts of different kind of flowers. We're in one section here with tulips, although the tulips I think have come and gone by now. But it's just a lovely place, and tranquil if you want to get away from whatever hustle and bustle there is in Cluj.
And it opened in 1925.
1925.
1925,
Okay.
But before that it was a botanical garden for the university students.
Good.
So this is old.
And you can get a senior discount when you enter, and it's about, 7 lei, something like that, which is not quite $2, so pretty good deal. Well, August is definitely festival time in Europe, and here in Cluj, starting tomorrow, is this huge musical festival coming right up.
They've blocked off areas of the city for this. There's a big arena, there's a central park and so forth. I was asking a young lady, I said, what kind of festival is this? I said, what can you expect? I said, is it rap or is it hip hop or what? Oh, and she says it's this and it's a little bit of that, and I have no idea. But I'm at a sign here that tells the names of some of the groups that are going to be playing. If they mean anything to you, leave a comment below. But I have no idea who these people are or what they play or whether they're all disc jockeys. I don't know. Okay, Lenny Kravitz, that name I know. I've never dug any of his stuff. I don't know. There's Burna Boy, Sam Smith, Alok, A-L-O-K, Dimitri Vegas and Like Mike, Lost Frequencies, Purple Disco Machine, Martin Garrix, Timmy Trumpet, Swedish House Mafia, Black Coffee. He's been getting a lot of posters with him. I'm not sure what he does. Carl Cox, Fisher, Solomon. Okay, those are some of the highlights. So, you know, if this means anything to you, you're going to think, oh my God, Jay, you are such a dinosaur. You have no idea about contemporary music or anything, and you don't even deserve to be alive. But here we are. Fortunately or unfortunately, we will be leaving just as the festival gets into full swing. Tomorrow, I think, is when it starts. You can pick up tickets until 4 a.m. Tomorrow morning here. I think Romania must be famous for its honey because every town that we go to, we see these markets and they have lots and lots of different kinds of honey. I just wish, it was a little bit more portable. It's going to be a little bit difficult to take that along with us. I can just imagine an empty jar of honey with its contents spread throughout our clothes. Well, hi there, adventure fans. Tanya and I are here today in deep Transylvania, Romania. And we are here in the old town of Hunedoara in the heart of Transylvania. We are staying at this fabulous hotel. We'll show you a little bit later, but it is the Work Hotel and Spa, and it's built on this hillside right above the jewel of Hunedoara, which is the Corvin Castle. And we're about to go in there. Corvin Castle was built, started in 1446 by John Hunyadi, who was the local big shot around here. And this castle has been burned at least 5 different times over the centuries. It had been abandoned for a while, and now it's been restored and is one of the largest castles in all of Europe. And we're going to go in there today and see what all the fuss is about. This is the highlight of Hunedoara, a town that has about 50,000 people. So let's go check it out.
We're standing right now at the edge of the famous well here in the castle, and the legend is that in antiquity there were 3 Turkish prisoners, and their task was to try and find water for the castle. And they were promised that if they reached water, they would be given their freedom. And these cats worked for 15 years digging this well until they finally hit water. And they were just overjoyed. They thought, wow, this is great. We're finally going to be given our freedom. But alas, that was not to be. Their captors pulled a switcheroo on them, and they were not let loose at all. So one prisoner, I guess, later scribbled on the wall somewhere in the well something to the effect of, well, you know, we were great and dug the well, but our captors had no soul. So there you go. They really got back at them. As a little postscript to this story, the 3 Turkish prisoners who dug the well, in the meantime, during the 15 years that they were digging this, John Hunyadi died, and his wife was then in charge and decided not to respect her husband's wishes, and not only did not release these 3 guys, but had them killed. So, no good well dug goes unpunished. Exactly. Let that be a lesson to you. One of the things you'll find throughout Europe, especially in medieval towns, are these, I call them tourist traps, but they're these torture museums, or means of torture and killing. I don't know, it's just endlessly fascinating for people. But of course, this one is Hunedoara has one as well. It's right here. It's called the Exposition of Torture, and just to kind of give you an idea what you're going. We're not going to be going through it, but to give you what you could be looking forward to is that here's some poor slob that he's done wrong, and he's either going to be stretched to death or something like that, and in extreme circumstances, he's going to face the guillotine. Now, I don't know that they had the guillotine in medieval times. I thought that was a relatively new invention, like in the 19th century, but never let the facts get in the way of a good story. Here's our torture maiden right here. She's also the ticket taker, but if you're not doing right, she'll put the screws to you. Ever since the earliest days of its existence, Hunedoara was a steel-making town, even in medieval times when they were making pig iron. Well, that tradition continued on, and during Soviet times, in the Soviet Union, Hunedoara produced lots of steel for the Soviet Union. And of course, when the USSR collapsed in 1989, everything shut down, and people were unemployed. And at one point, this town had up to, I think 90,000 people, something like that. Now it's down to about 50. People left, and it's just it looks to me, just as someone walking around, like it's just barely starting to get its footing again. You'll find remnants of the steel making. I'm not sure what this tower is for, but you'll see, it's part of this foundry. You'll see just pieces of it, old buildings, very, very Soviet looking all over the place. I think this town might have potential as a tourist destination, but it's one of those that's going to take a lot of work. First of all, it's not terribly easy to get to unless you have a car. We went by public transportation, took a marshrutka or small bus from Cluj to one town, then we got on another bus that was along the way. It worked pretty seamlessly, but then we got that to get here. The train, I think, serves here, but the schedule is really inconvenient. What we're doing is tomorrow we're heading on to our next destination, and we've hired a taxi to take us, which is more expensive, of course, than taking a bus, but not all that much, and much quicker. Yeah. So this is the main square in Hunedoara that
appears to be under, construction. And, as a consequence, there's really nobody here. When we walked around last night or late yesterday afternoon, I mean, it was a weekday, and you clearly got the impression that this was kind of an abandoned town. And you can see over in the distance there are lots of paving stones, and there's new paving stones here that look like they're going to be ready to be installed, but I don't see any work going on. Now, it's a beautiful Orthodox church just off the main square. Not sure how much, well, the doors are open there, so I presume that it's a working church. Let's go see. Well, indeed, this is a working church. It is called the Emperor's Saints Constantine and Elena Cathedral, and it was built between 1939 and 1946. So not really a great time to be building something in Romania, but these people persevered, and they did. Tanya and I were just discussing neighborhoods as we get closer back to our hotel and where the castle is. I think what's happened, Tanya, and maybe you'd agree with me, that I think the town has kind of just sort of shifted, and that happens. Where over here, where the municipal buildings are, and this square that they're renovating, whereas perhaps that used to be the center of town. Now it's kind of shifted, don't you think?
I think so.
Over to that other neighborhood where there's some shops and a nice mall, and looks like a place to have concerts, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you only came to Hunedoara to go to the castle and only stayed in that immediate area, you might end up getting some of the same initial impressions that we did. And I'm starting to have a different feeling here. I think if you came here, you might really enjoy it. I don't know, if you were here for a week, there's I don't think there's enough, what we call sights to keep you engaged for that period of time, but just to get into the rhythm of the town and kind of relax. It's up here in the Transylvanian mountains, and it could be certainly a way to get away from all the tourist crowds. We have encountered zero Americans. Very few other tourists that we've encountered have been Hungarian.
Mm-hmm.
What else? A few Germans, and that's really about it.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up our trip here to Hunedoara, and I see our taxi is coming, and we're getting ready to take our ride to our next destination, Sibiu. And it's just a beautiful day in Romania. If you happen to come here, this hotel, it's a 4-star hotel, and you saw the amenities that it has, cost $170 per night. Now that's more expensive than most places in Hunedoara, but it was a wonderful stay, and you'll enjoy yourself here.